This is Uncovering Sports. Welcome to Uncovering Sports. I am Cactus Hamilton Barrett alongside the Dark Knight Brendan Coleman. Oh. And right off the bat, we have breaking news. There is a new football league again.
What?
And I'm not kidding. It's not the XFL. It's not the NFL. Apparently there's another one. Just showed up out of nowhere.
How many do we need?
I know. Everyone gets a football league these days. This one is by, get this, Charlie Ebersol.
Really?
Dick Ebersol's son. Dick Ebersol, if you don't know, was one of the original creators of the XFL, along with Vince McMahon, and was featured prominently in a documentary for ESPN that Charlie Ebersol made. Guess you've got a bunch of ideas.
Yeah.
Because now he's making let me get this right, the Alliance of American Football?
That name doesn't roll off the tongue.
It sounds more like a union.
It is. It's the players' union.
But apparently it's an alliance between players, fans, to give us the football we all want. Because apparently nobody believes that the NFL is football that we want anymore. So everyone needs to start their own leagues.
Well, to each their own.
I mean, I can see that. I'm as sick as everyone else of Brady winning all the time, but...
But you know what? We both watch every Sunday.
We're still tuning in. And so much for football being a dying sport, right? Like, this year, I feel like I heard so much talk about, like, oh man, football's not even going to be around in 20 years because of the injuries, and no one's going to let their kids play football anymore. But rumors of its death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah,
because we got at least 2 new leagues starting. And the biggest news of all of this is that the AAF, is that what we're calling it? AF? I don't think they thought the whole abbreviation thing through when they called themselves the Alliance of American Football. But anyway.
American Football Alliance.
Hey, there you go, AFA. AFA. Biggest news about this league is that it begins next February, 2019. They're beating the XFL to the punch.
I feel like we've wasted all of our time on the XFL now.
Hey, we backed the XFL. We're sticking to the XFL. They clearly need our help because the AF seems to be much further along.
Well, AF is probably listening to our show, taking all our ideas.
Damn it. Charlie, are you listening to me right now? You Look, son of a gun.
Vince is my guy. You're the one who's supposed to be dealing with Charlie right now.
All right, I'll see what I can do. I got to find out if he's stealing our ideas because... These are ideas for the XFL. Vince gets first dibs on them.
Yes. He's told me he wants all these ideas.
Yeah, exactly. We're just waiting for him to call back.
Yeah.
He's already made it clear that he wants them.
Right.
We just need to sit down, make the meeting. They did give us a peek at their rule book, which does look a little different from ours, so they didn't take all of our XFL ideas. Although I do like some of them.
Really?
Yeah. 60% less commercials, which isn't a rule, but... That does sound like an alliance between fans and players.
It does, but it also seems unlikely for television. So we'll see.
Also, you have to be on television to have no commercials. And I know that their championship game will be played on CBS Sportsnet, or whatever the CBS Sports channel is called. But I don't know if every game is going to be on there.
Wow, they're kicking bass fishing off the air for one day.
Damn, cold-blooded. What were some of the other rules? Okay. There are no more kickoffs, which sounds XFL-y, right?
Yeah, I mean, people have been proposing that for the NFL.
Yeah, NFL's probably going to steal this rule.
Yeah.
But the thing that always comes up about no kickoffs is, what about the onside kick? What about that chance to try to get the ball back? So their solution, and I actually really like this, is you can... choose to have the ball back on your own 35-yard line on a 4th and 10 and go for it.
That's a pretty awesome rule.
I know. I could see a lot of ways that you could use that to book some pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You could have, let's say John Fox is your coach.
Sure.
He chooses to take the ball so he can punt it away.
For a second, I thought, that doesn't sound like John Fox deciding to go for it on 4th and 10. but picking it so you can punt it away.
That way you can kick the ball. They're not letting you kick the ball any other way.
Good point. If Bill Belichick ever coaches an AF, you better believe he's doing that. He wants to get his punter on the field somehow, some way. There's also, speaking of kickers, there's no kickoffs, but there's also no extra points because you have to go for a 2-point conversion, which is going to be weird for two reasons. One, AF scores are going to look way different than NFL scores.
A lot of eights.
A lot of sixes and eights
Yeah.
that are going to add up differently than sevens. But that's another part of the kicking game that's taken out of it. So are there even going to be field goals, or what's the point of having a kicker on your team?
Brilliant. They've eliminated the kicker.
Vince is taking notes right now.
We've been pitching blending the kicker and punter together. I think you have to in a situation like that.
Right? I mean, there's no point, it feels like, to have it separated when the kicker has more reduced responsibilities.
Yeah, just teach a punter how to kick.
So this starts next February 2019, a year before the XFL. But also, how long have they been working on this? Because wasn't the XFL's downfall that they didn't give themselves enough time the first time?
You'd think Charlie knows that.
Yeah, he wrote the book on it.
He did. Yeah, maybe this has been going for years.
Just
Under
in the
wraps.
background, yeah, maybe. I know they have some NFL types working on it also,
Some pretty big names in there.
right?
Jared Allen, I believe, was in there.
Troy Polamalu.
Justin Tuck. Yeah.
They've wrangled some talent. Does that mean they're out of the XFL draft?
I mean, they're going to have a choice.
Sure.
It's up to them.
Yeah, it's up to them.
They could turn their back on the AF and join the XFL.
Heel turn.
Yeah.
And that's probably what's going to happen at one point or another, because this is going to be a spring league. XFL is going to be a spring league. I can see where this is going. Can you see where this is going?
I think I see where you're going with this.
Two names that are very well connected to the XFL. Maybe it's because this whole thing is a work.
You think it is?
Did anyone ever think of that?
I think it has to be.
I think it is.
I think people are fooled by this.
People are excited at any kind of news, and they're doing it in just the right way. They leak the XFL, coming in 2 years, give it just enough time to throw another league out of nowhere. And the reason that they're starting a year early is you don't want to start two leagues at the exact same time. But if you want to build a sense of competition, you need another league. The XFL is not going to be competing with the NFL because they're not on in the same time of year.
Is it surprising to you that XFL isn't the one that starts first?
No, because maybe it's the XFL that has the name recognition, the branding. People are already excited just by that alone.
Yeah, that's true.
And the McMahon factor. So it can continue to be the hype machine that it is, whereas this league needs to hit the ground running and establish itself a little bit more. Everyone's going to tune in to watch the XFL when it happens because we want to see what it's going to be like this time. Because it already happened once. And that first game got a lot of viewers.
That's true. That first game.
That's why we're seeing all these big names attached right off the bat for the AAF, because they have nothing else that they're working off of, right? It was announced as guy who makes XFL documentaries starting a football league.
That's true.
Huh.
Yeah. They're living off the XFL name, and they aren't even the XFL. Yeah.
And they're living off the XFL name because it's a work. This is just the early going, but they're setting up a feud between the XFL and the AAF and their owners. Don't be surprised if you see Ebersol and McMahon staring down at some point.
This is different for Vince because he doesn't typically like competition.
That's true. He likes to put him out of business.
Yeah.
But think about this, in the wrestling world where McMahon got his start, one of their big boom periods was when there was the most competition. And that's when they really built and solidified their business as this global engine, was through their Monday Night Wars. So if you're trying to figure out a way to sell your XFL brand, why not set up the Sunday Night Wars?
Sure, yeah.
And that's what we're going to get in 2020.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
I can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Plus,
us against Charlie.
Yeah. Us. We're XFL.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the AAF, of course. This is going to be crazy. We have 3 leagues to talk about now in just football alone. How are we going to juggle all this?
3 shows a week. Gotta do it.
Got an NFL show, an XFL show, an AF show, and that's just football. We got other sports soon.
We're growing.
If you want to join the Uncovering Sports team, tweet us at Uncovering Sport. We're hiring. Let's talk about NFL now.
Sure.
This is too much. While the XFL and the AF are building their brands, deep into the thick of free agency now, shuffling around. And we talked about it a lot last week, where people are moving around to. We kind of tiptoed into the realm of why it all happens.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's start booking next season.
Wow. All right. Let's do it. So last week we talked about Case Keenum, the possibility that he might be used to build up a rookie in Denver, right?
Yep.
Where he might flounder and this rookie will shine, and now he's better than the guy who was the hottest thing.
So good last year. Yeah, exactly.
Which is a thing we've seen before in the past. So I thought we could look at a few more of these. We talked about Cousins a little bit also, right?
Yeah.
And how they're kind of pairing his stardom and the Vikings' rise together, and they're going to...
into one big mega push.
Yeah.
Right.
Likely the favorites, I think we could say.
Yep, definitely. All the hype that they're spinning up around both team and quarterback.
Yeah. So we got a few more here. One that really stood out is the Jets, right?
Right.
They're kind of a laughing stock.
They were supposed to be one of the worst teams last year, and they were not very good, but they weren't the Browns. Everyone thought that they were going to go 0-16.
Yeah, actually, I believe they were... that was their project. They were supposed to lose to the Browns.
Yep.
Yeah. So, they really exceeded expectations, but I think we might be seeing a step back. They've kind of been built into a dumpster fire here.
Sure, over the last couple of years.
Yeah. But even in this offseason, they brought McCown back. They've brought in Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah. His journey ends there, I guess. So McCown, Bridgewater, they just traded up in the draft, right? All the hype is they're taking another one.
Yeah, of course.
So now you've got 3 guys who you're not paying to do nothing, right? They're all going to see the field. And as we all know, when that many quarterbacks see the field, it's not a good sign.
We've seen this plenty of times in Cleveland.
So Cleveland, we could talk about also if you want. They are on the rise. I think the Jets might be headed for that spot down there.
We talked about this last week. Who's going to occupy that spot?
Yeah.
It's looking like the Jets are getting set up to be.
Yeah.
No reason you put that many quarterbacks on a team unless you're headed towards impending doom.
It's a mess over there.
And I saw Tyrod say this week, in a little fourth wall breaking, that he's not just going to be a transitional guy there. Because we said last week, they probably bring Tyrod in to prop up the franchise a little bit because he was just a playoff quarterback.
Right.
To make it conceivable that the Browns can now win some games, among some other moves. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, if they have long-term plans for the Browns beyond that, which at this time they don't.
No.
But
no way.
If that changes and they want them to be more than just, a middle-of-the-road team, the idea is that Tyrod probably wouldn't be the guy there. But he's grabbing the brass ring, as it were.
Yeah. Well, hey, they've got the underdog story of the century right in front of them if they want to go for it.
I know, seriously.
4 wins in 3 years. If that team turns it around, everyone's going to be behind them.
Yeah, oh yeah. Everyone is a Browns fan in one way or another because we want to see the little guy
deep down
win a game.
We're Browns
you know?
fans.
Even if they had a chance to go 8-8, like at the end of the season, best booking for the Browns is they're 7-8, last game of the season. Everyone will be tuning in to see if they can go 500.
Yeah. That should be a nationally televised game.
Oh, it'll be the last game of the season. It doesn't have playoff implications or anything. It just has all of our hearts implications.
Just Browns against Bengals.
Yeah.
So yeah, Browns up. Jets down.
Yep.
One of the bigger surprises so far has been Richard Sherman, who, I thought was going to be a Seahawk forever.
Yeah.
But he's a bit outspoken, and maybe that played a part in it. I don't know.
Sure.
But he left and signed with the division rival San Francisco 49ers. They're on the rise also.
And looking at the two teams, it almost makes sense from a bit of an identity standpoint, right? You have goody two-shoes Russell Wilson that is kind of a robot
right.
being a good guy. Richard Sherman doesn't really fit on that team.
That's true. Yeah. They need some more goodies over there. And they could use an image rebuild.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that might make sense. But he's from that area, I believe. And he's been quoted as saying that he's going to get a little revenge here.
He went to the 49ers because they play the Seahawks twice a season, which I thought was a great promo.
Yeah.
They're setting him up to really be a heel in Seattle. The revenge angle is on.
Yeah. Well, he's a talker. So
He is.
they're going to let him
He's
talk.
great on the stick, yeah, so you let him go.
And it adds a layer. It's kind of cooled off a little, but there's been a big feud between these teams for years.
Yeah, and then we haven't seen that in the last couple of years just because the 49ers have been garbage. But this is a great way to reignite that.
Yeah.
Because there's money in that feud.
Oh, yeah.
In those markets.
They got a lot of big games out of them.
Oh, yeah.
In the past.
And I can easily see why they want to recapture that. And moving Richard Sherman over there is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And they already put Jimmy G there, so the 49ers are poised to at least do a lot better divisionally than they have been.
I mean, he came from the Patriots. They might win it all. They might come out of nowhere and win it all.
Yeah, if you want a fantasy book Jimmy G right now.
Oh, that's where we're going. Brady against Jimmy G. Passing of the torch.
Oh, how did we not see that?
Well,
that plan, just to make our listeners clear, that is just speculation right now. It's a little too early for us to know if that's their plans. When we get closer to the season beginning, we'll probably have a more solid understanding of what the booking's going to be. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised by that. That sounds like something that they would do. Especially when they put the 49ers on a 6-game run at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's no secret that they're going to be booked better than they've been booked.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we're just saying it's possible. That's all.
Speaking of the Patriots.
Yeah. One other team I wanted to look at. Mike Vrabel got his first head coaching job in Tennessee. Former Patriot linebacker.
Oh, wow.
Got some rings there. Two of the players they went after. Dion Lewis, you may have heard of him.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
Pretty big run. And Malcolm Butler, who had a very famous postseason. They both joined the Titans, and I'm wondering if maybe the baby Patriots are being born there. It's a weird market, I feel like, but they've got the marketable quarterback there,
Yep. We just saw the Patriots play the Titans in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they gave them a run for their money.
Yeah.
They exceeded expectations.
Absolutely. They made Mariota look really good this offseason.
Yeah.
So I could see that totally being plausible. I mean, the stock in the Titans is going up right now.
It's a little frustrating that they're using the Patriots to build another team.
But does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me in the least.
The reason I'm saying their stock is going up is because they got a Patriots
That's true.
coach and Patriots players.
Otherwise, middle of the road.
You start to see a pattern here. Oh, 49ers got a Patriots player. We expect them to do really well.
Damn it.
Okay, the NFL booking is predictable, but we still watch it.
Because you get moments like the Super Bowl this year. We didn't see that coming.
No, exactly.
I mean, it all worthwhile.
Yeah, to their credit, they are self-aware enough to know that they book stale sometimes and are willing to pull the trigger on big moments.
That's true.
Not everyone's willing to do that. Maybe, but
the NBA could maybe take a page out of their book.
Seriously. No, it's going to be Cavs and Warriors.
Yeah. The LeBron comeback, because they had a rough year.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen one of those in a little bit. I think it's time for, LeBron to put the team on his shoulders and climb the ladder.
Overcome the odds.
One more time.
Yeah.
Before he goes and does the same thing for another team? Or maybe. Just the same one?
Time will we'll cover that.
Our NBA coverage is coming. We're just letting it develop and simmer a little bit more season-wise.
Yeah.
We've talked about the AAF.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about the NFL.
Yep.
I think it's time to talk about the XFL.
The main event.
In a little segment we like to call Book The XFL. Last week we added the San Diego Extreme, stolen from LA, to our roster of teams. And now it's time to add the fourth team to our XFL, which we will be drafting April 25th. If you want to be a GM, tweet us at Uncovering Sport or go on Facebook and let us know that you'd like to be a GM in the hot seat on April 25th, putting together a team. And trust me, you want to be a GM for this, you want to tune in for this, it's going to be fun, and who knows where it's going to go after that, because the XFL's got a long way to getting booked. So
that's true. Yeah.
So, we're looking at cities that need teams.
Mm-hmm. We live in one.
We need a team in our city.
Yeah.
Our city's ripe for a team. Or is it? Because there's been a lot of failed teams
That's
in
true.
good old Portland, Oregon.
Well, hey, the Blazers are on fire right now.
Hey, yeah. We're not talking about the NBA right now.
Nope.
We're talking about the XFL.
Right.
But the Blazers are on fire.
Yes.
Do we just spin them off into an XFL team? XFL Blazers?
I think that would be frowned upon.
Yeah.
Has there been any other football teams around here?
There's been a few, actually.
Okay.
A few AFL. I was a season ticket holder for the Portland Thunder, which was an AFL team that lasted 2 seasons. That was poorly named based on a rival of the Trailblazers.
Yes. Didn't think that one through.
Not sure why they picked that.
Still probably the best name for a football team in Portland so far.
That's fair. There have been some hits and misses. Notably, there's another AFL team called the Portland Forest Dragons.
What is a forest dragon?
I don't know. Sounds really Game of Thrones or something.
I don't know about that.
I've never watched the show. Aren't there dragons in that show? I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
It sounds fantastical.
Yes, it does.
And they were a miss.
None of those really sound like an XFL team to me.
Okay, I see what you mean. They don't really have that edge to them.
They don't sound cool.
Good point. Yeah. What about the Portland Pixels? That was one of the options for the baseball team that ended up being called the Pickles.
I'll do you one better.
Okay.
You remember the Portland lacrosse team? The Lumberjacks.
I do. Lumberjacks.
Sounds cool.
That sounds really cool. Then I present to you the newest XFL franchise, the Portland Lumberjacks.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's great.
I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. That's why we're part of the XFL team.
Exactly. AAF is not going to... First of all, AAF does not sound cool.
No, it doesn't.
And second of all, their team names probably won't sound cool either. They'll probably be very generic sounding like the AAF.
Yeah.
The
Generals.
Okay, so we've got our team. Now we need to add some players to our XFL draft. Who we got?
We've got some big names in there already. I tried to find a few more for us. As always, I'll start with a quarterback. Notre Dame has put some very average quarterbacks into the NFL.
Sure.
But they had a lot of hype behind them. So we're going to try to build on that. He's currently still a TV personality.
Okay. That's good. He's got some recognition.
Yeah, he's been
some
on
name value.
Been on several NFL teams. So he knows his way around.
Sure.
Brady Quinn.
He certainly knows his way around a bench.
He does. He might be thrown into action in the XFL. I don't know.
I think he's going to see some starting reps.
That's up to the 8 GM. See if he gets drafted.
That's true. If you want to draft Brady Quinn, then you need to be a GM of one of our teams.
Yeah.
Tweet us at Uncovering Sport. Okay, Brady Quinn. Who else we got?
One of the all-time underperforming running backs. And that doesn't sound great.
Well, last week I believe we added Reggie Bush, who posted a negative season.
Exactly. He's never done that, but I'm sure he's been close. Former 3rd overall pick, Trent Richardson.
Ooh, one of the biggest busts, I think, in a long time.
Yeah.
But an XFL legend in the making.
Yes. Because you know what? There's not a lot of defense in the XFL.
No.
But there are defensive players.
There are.
And
there technically are.
If they're willing to swallow their pride, take some money to put over Trent Richardson, then I've got a job for you. I'm looking at you, Sean Merriman.
He's just the guy to do the job.
He is. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but his whole thing, after he got a sack, which you may be familiar with, Des Bryant also does it.
Sure.
He makes an X.
Throwing up a very cool looking hand sign.
Very cool looking. I think he's made for the XFL.
And I will say, absolutely on that note, that the thing that I feel like we're going to be missing is sack celebrations, since quarterbacks can't be hit in the XFL.
That's true. Is that an official rule?
I'll have to go to the book.
Okay. Yeah, he also has a little bit of tie to WWE, so he might have an in with Vince.
He's got an in with Vince for sure.
Next up, a name we've already talked about today. I was very surprised to wake up and read his name first thing in the morning.
Sure.
Joining the He's a consultant, I believe, for AF.
Okay, yes, the player's consultant.
Yes. Troy Polamalu.
He's still eligible.
He's still eligible.
He could switch sides.
He could. There's going to be plenty of players switching sides in these two leagues.
Oh, yeah, back and forth.
Sometimes week to week.
I expect an invasion angle at some point.
Yes. The Texas Rattlesnakes are going to go play a game in AF.
Yep.
And then I got one more for you. I think we're safe to pencil him into the XFL because we discovered there's not a lot of place for kickers in AF.
No, there certainly isn't.
He is, I'd say, by far the most charismatic kicker or punter we've ever seen. Pat McAfee.
Yes. I will be drafting him for my XFL team.
First pick.
Possibly my first pick, because I love Pat McAfee.
That guy is hilarious.
He is awesome. His show is probably better than ours. And that's okay.
That's okay. But if he wants to maybe join us.
Yeah. I think we would love to have Pat on our show.
Yeah.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah. Call his agent.
Yeah, sure. I think he's his own agent now.
That's true. Probably.
He does whatever he wants. He's Pat McAfee.
Well, I'll call Peyton. He can call Pat. They're friends.
Oh, yeah,
so,
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll set something up.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Brady Quinn, Trent Richardson, Sean Merriman, Troy Polamalu, and Pat McAfee going into the draft. Any of them would make great additions to the Portland Lumberjacks or any of our other teams.
Yeah.
And we still have 4 more to go as we march ahead to April 25th and our Book The XFL draft. That's going to do it for the show this week, but stay tuned to uncovering sports.com throughout the week for news and updates, and we'll see you back here next week.
Deuces. I'm not going to do a sound effect.